for listening and welcome to the Life Podcast, a proud member of the Eventide Entertainment Podcast Network. I'm your host, Don Smith. Kevin Rupert sticks around as guest co-host, and we learn a little bit more about the often over-the-top Neil Griffin. No lemurs were harmed during this broadcast. If you enjoy the show, like and follow the Life 1069 on Facebook and Don Smith Comedy on Twitter, or tune in live on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. on WWSU 106.9 FM, or you can stream the show live at WWSU1069.org.
The brutal presence overwhelms me. The brutal presence overwhelms me.
All right. Hey, we're back on the Life Radio Show. Patrick, give me a time. That way I know where to cut this.
Oh, 101.49.
101.49. All right.
What are you talking about?
That's always important to have. We got to have that. You don't need to have this on. You just look silly in those. Welcome back to the Life Radio Show. I'm your host, Don Smith, sitting in with my guest co-host for the week, Mr. Kevin Rupert.
Still in the studio?
Still in the studio.
Foreskin and all.
Yep, you haven't. Yep, foreskin intact. He did not stick to Keith when he left, so Keith didn't have to carry you out. You're still going to hook up Friday, so you can spoon in the theater watching Ragmork. My next guest is Neil Griffin.
Hey,
what's happened? Any relation to Merv? I'm just
well, maybe him and Thomas Jefferson. Maybe him and Thomas Jefferson.
Okay, well that's going back then. I don't think Merv's that old,
right?
But I don't know. He is pretty old. Yeah. Neil Griffin, what's happening, man? Welcome.
Not much. How are you guys doing? Fantastic.
Good.
I'm feeling good, man. I've created my own show, and then I'm creating another show with Jesse Nutt. So we're doing a show called Non Sequitur. We shoot in 3.5 weeks. We're doing
where's that at?
We're gonna shoot it on location, so it's gonna be all around the Dayton area.
Through DATV or
no,
or for your own stuff.
Yeah, for our own stuff.
Good.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and because I'm a film student at Wright State University, so we have
I always forget that.
access. Right, so we got access to all that stuff. So I was just like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and use it. Might as well go ahead and use it before.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Before I graduate and not be able to use it, So I was like, well, let's. And I've got some really good skills from some great professors here, and so we're going to use it. So I did a show with Jesse Nutt. It's called a Neil Griffin and Friends Comedy Show at W.O. Wright's on Colonel Glenn Highway. The next one will be at Friday, June 21st. I think it starts at 9 o'clock. And Jesse Nutt headlined my first show I did and was like, hey, I really like what you're doing. Because I had a film crew, a DJ. Right. We had it together, and it went really well. And
Rupert and I both been on one there.
Well, yeah, you've been on the show, yeah. So it's good, it's high energy, it's going in the right direction, and so Mr. Nutt was like, I want to be a part of that.
Mr. Nutt,
Nutt.
There we were talking about those earlier and not paying enough attention.
You got it.
Jesse's brilliant comic, one of my favorite local comics, just because I love his rants that he gets into up there, and he just keeps going with them.
Right, and I love the fact that he transcends honesty, and seeing the 360-degree picture of things, and that's where we really vibe. Is that we don't look at just one thing,
right?
We look at everything, and then we dissect it, and then we go from there. And that's how we write our jokes. That's how we write. That's why we're writing the show. And that's just how we perceive things, because I can look at one thing one way and see a man's trash, right? And then I can look at something the other way and I can see a man's treasure. And how those two things relate is where we come across. And I think that's what makes the show. It's called Non Sequitur. That's what the show is going to be about. It's about how we see things and how things are perceived.
So what are your hopes with this show as far as getting it out into the world?
Well, I'd like to be able to do shop it around, obviously, but I have some contacts from the DC area and in New Orleans, some different talent agencies and things, and people that have some people that do that teach media production and stuff like that in places in California and different universities and stuff. So
okay, so you have some ideas for it.
Yeah, we're going to get it out there. It's going to
make a thing, and then now what?
Yeah,
you have, which is good. It's good to have some kind of plan going forward, even before you start.
Yeah, I feel like that's a problem. Is what I see a lot with like people that try to do this for a living. Is that you have this dream, and the dream is a great dream, and dreams are fun to have, and I love dreaming. Trust me, I'm a big fan of it. I'm really good at it, but the fact that you have to have a feasible plan with that dream, and really what it comes down to, Don, is just talking to people and being nice. If you're nice and you talk to people,
that's where I'm out.
Right. The world, really, though, Root, is that the world opens up. You know what I mean? And I feel like with my show, with the No Government Friends comedy show, and with Non Sequitur and all the other things going on, it's like that's all it really came down to. Right. It's just being nice and talking to people and being humble and knowing that you know nothing. You know what I mean? And you get around, you get to people that know stuff, and you talk to people that know things. It's like I don't say, hey, I know everything. You can't teach me anything. I really pride myself of knowing people that are, what, I don't know everything. I need to learn, and the more I learn, the stronger I become. And I think that's where
in comedy and filmmaking, that's hard to run into.
Yeah, and that's
because a lot of people I know in comedy and filmmaking, they already know everything, and that's it's a lot harder to get things going that way.
Right. And I think that's the issue I run into a lot is that it's like I think, but as long as you're strong enough to not fall into that competitive spirit and not fall into that and say, oh well, I know everything too. No, yeah. I don't know everything. Can you teach me? Then all of a sudden they're teaching you, and all of a sudden you're the one getting stronger. But they could be learning from you, but they choose not to because because of that situation, because they're like, oh well, maybe I know this, but maybe again, same thing with the show, 360 degrees, right? Everybody can teach you something. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I can't teach you physics, but I can teach you how to cut the grass. And maybe the grass looks nice, and maybe somebody that knows physics says, "Hey, your grass looks nice." All of a sudden, you've got a connection, right? So you always have to have that open mind to where I'm learning all the time, and I can teach, but I can be taught, and as long as you have that, I think you're on the right path. It's so far so good. It's working for me. So
yeah, that works. You've been in comedy for quite some time. You started in D.C. how long ago?
Well, correction, Don.
On and off.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I started at a talent show in 1995. There was two of my friends, Danny Miller and Adon Needham, were sitting at my house after school one day, and was like, "Yo, you're funny, dude. You should do something." And I said, "Okay, what should I do?" And he's like, "Well, there's a choir talent show. You should go, right?" And my mom is a tap dancer. So my mom's a tap dancer. And so we're always like, I've always been in the theater since I was like 7, 8 years old. So I've always been groomed to that. So anyway, they were like, yo, come do this talent show. I said, okay, right? Well, I auditioned for the talent show, and I said my jokes, and Mr. Cox liked them. And he's like, I tell you what I'm going to do. He's like, I'm going to put you on last. And then he went, no, I'm going to put you on second to last. And I said, okay, second to last, that's cool, right? So next thing you know, it turns out that I waited all this time to get on stage, and I did well. And then next thing you know, Johnny Stevens comes up behind me. He's the last guy on. So I'm like, okay, so it's Johnny Stevens. He was just a friend of mine. We walked around. We did like America Sings. We did a lot of choir stuff together. Well, it turns out he's John Legend now. So he turned out to be John Legend.
Oh, well.
So yeah, right. So 95 is when I started. And then from then I went from there, to kind of put it around for a little bit. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. And you gotta remember, this is like before the internet, right? So there was no connections. Like, some of the older Dayton comics I knew, like Jeff Bang, a young Jesse Nutt. Some of those comics I knew. I've seen them. And so then I went to Eastern Arizona and I had an acting scholarship. They gave me a partial acting scholarship. So then I had to do different plays. I was Sonny in Grease. I was a lawyer in this play called The Investigation, where I played a defense lawyer for the Nazis. Yeah, it didn't turn out well. I did that. I did like all these different like weird like heavy college plays, and then one day, Martin Luther King Day, they had a Black History talent show, right? And I just had to be like, yo, like I'm gonna do it. So I did, and I did well. And so then they hired me to do every Saturday at noon. I would do a show. So you can imagine, like, and I did every show, or every Saturday I did a show to welcome in touring college visitors. So it could have been anybody. It was like, just depend who it was. So anyway, it'd be like, it might be 200 students, or it might be, esteemed faculty or esteemed alumni, whatever.
And this was Eastern Arizona?
Yeah, Eastern Arizona. Yeah, Thatcher, Arizona. The home of the Gila Monsters. The home of the Gila Monsters, sir. Yeah, and so that's how, and that kind of got me where I got to where I wanted to go to. Then I went to the Air Force, and then I just was like, well, now having a conversation with a guy in Thatcher, a comic in Tucson. His name is Matt Woods. He wrote a pilot for Disney. He's super talented, and he was like, yo, you need to go to, there's 3 cities at the time. There's 3 cities you need to go to. He's like, you need to pick. He was like, DC, New York, LA. Well, my sister was in DC, and that's how I got to DC. And then from there, when I got to DC, then I met up with Tony Woods, Alex Scott, those guys, and they were doing big stuff. And Alex he just released his he's got a bit on True TV right now, actually. So yeah, so we grinded. I grinded forever. Did a couple auditions. Did BET. Did Last Comic Standing. Callbacks on BET, the BET shows. Yeah, it was good. Like it was a good time. I just feel like it was really competitive and really clicky. So like once you got into being really clicky, and that's one thing I like about Dayton comedy is that it's not clicky like that. Like everyone's for each other. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to prove myself. You know what I mean? Like I still had to prove myself. I still had to be like, don't get that twisted. It wasn't like, hey, okay, we know this guy. It wasn't like that. I had to prove myself. I had, I literally, I'd go to,
yeah, you got to do the mics.
Got to do the mics,
or nobody knows you.
Right. They don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care. They don't care. Send them an audience, right? They don't care. They don't care. Yeah. Hey, I was class clown twice. I actually, it's funny. I've been class clown every school I've been to.
I can see that.
Everywhere. Thank you. Everywhere but right state, just because we don't have one, just because we don't vote on it. But everywhere else, I've won it. Like
if there was a vote,
right,
it'd be you.
Yeah.
I'm not even in your classes. I can tell.
Right. Thank you. But that would be it.
Just because you got to keep the streak alive. That's the only. That's
Yeah, it's crazy. That's how it went. And so anyway, so it was just kind of like I said, I've been on stages since I was like 7, 8 years old. Man, I used to sing Jimmy Durante songs. My first show was on SRO at the Springfield Arts Council Summer Arts Festival, and they have it every year. And I think they just celebrated I think 30, maybe 40 years. And I've been a part of that for a long time. So it was really nice to be a part of that and stuff. And hopefully next summer, I'm hoping to get a festival out there where we can do something outside, because that's one thing we haven't done yet. And I think that would just be amazing if we could get it together. So I got to go talk to the powers that be for that. But I think that's just going to be a great time. But I've been doing this for a really long time. And I just what's funny is that I still go through the same growing pains, that other comics go through. I'll still write a bit and then change it all the way up and figure it out and do this and do that. And I have people to help.
Well, yeah, I don't think that's something that the process, I don't think ever really changes.
No.
I mean, I can't imagine it suddenly becoming easier to write a joke without going through the process of proving it and rewriting it and redoing it and trying it out. And I think that's a necessary step.
Yeah, I mean,
for all of them.
Yeah, and you know what? And I think it really teaches you and helps you respect not only like the history of it, like the history of comedy. Like I'm a student of comedy. You know, I love Elaine Boozler, Junie Tenuta. You know what I mean? Emo Phillips. I love those. I love comedy. Like if you don't know those names and you're listening, Google those people. Those people are somebody those are people that in comedy you should study. Richard
absolutely.
Jenney. It doesn't. Yeah.
I love Richard Jenney.
Richard Jenney. Like, I never had my dad. Okay. My dad was one of those guys. Like he always forgot. Like he would always forget like stuff, but he would always make it up. So or not make it up, but like he would always get me like the bad guys. Like I always get like I'd get toys for Christmas, but he always get like last minute. So I would never get like Superman. I always get like Lex Luthor. Or I get like I wouldn't get like
He just knew.
Right. Right. I never get like He-Man. I got Skeletor. Like seriously. Like I never got like Castle Grayskull. I always got like the whatever Skeletor's thing was. Like that. It was like the skull dude. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, like his lair, like the evil lair. I always got that. Like I never got the good stuff because the good stuff you got to plan to get. You know, my dad wasn't know about that. You know what I mean? Like he just wasn't about that. But anyway, the point being is that we never had HBO. You know, I always had Showtime. So all my guys, you know, they were real comics. You know what I'm saying? Like all my guys, all my comedy like heroes were real comics because
right. Yeah, the guys on the Showtime comedy half hours and the Showtime Comedy Network.
Gary Shandling, man.
Oh yeah,
Gary Shandling's a beast.
Yeah.
Like Gary Shandling, like these are the people who taught me what I know, comedy wise. Gary Shandling, Richard Jenney, Elaine Boozler, those are my peeps, and I watched those specials like Paul Reiser, like all the people that people would consider B-list people, Don Herrera.
See, I would not consider them B-list.
Well, you wouldn't because you're a comic.
Right, exactly.
You're a comic.
Because Richard Jenney is still, to me, I mean,
amazing.
One of the most amazing joke writers, and his rants would just kill me because you wouldn't even have time to breathe. You're laughing so hard at these. And yeah, he was insane.
Jenney was
just
a beast.
Absolutely brilliant.
Jenney was a beast. One of the most underrated comics of all time. Yeah. Richard Jenney was one of the most underrated comics of all time, without a doubt. Another one, just to put his name out there, I gotta say Ralph Harris. Another one, I just think is just underrated. Just fantastic. Female comic wise, I gotta go with Elaine Boozler, man. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. I don't know who she made mad or whatever, but she was Ellen 20 years before Ellen, like just ahead of her time. Carol Burnett. Maybe that's it. Maybe she just got lost in the fray because Carol Burnett was still on top at that time.
Yeah.
Joan Rivers. So there was like she didn't play that game that there's a game that needs to be played, and maybe she didn't play it. You know what I mean? So I feel like, but a Boozler was definitely like on my tops, man. She was definitely like when I think of like great comics, like she's on my list because I would watch Top Tomato. It's like one of her first like Showtime specials. Top Tomato. I'd watch that, man. I don't even know how many times. I mean, I watched it so many times. Like I just because again back then there was no TiVo, so I would just there was no DVR and there was no stopping it. I would just click on Showtime, at 10 o'clock at night, and hopefully she would be on, and I would wait.
When my dad got a VCR, he would just record endless hours of comedy, just like the Showtime comedy half hours, where it'd be the no-name guys you never heard of that would come up and be doing 5-10 minutes. Mm-hmm. That's where I first saw Billy Elmer, who was another favorite. That's where I first saw actually Ron White.
Nice.
In the early 80s.
Really?
Was a big guy.
Really?
Compared to what he is now. The only reason I recognized him is the voice is exactly the same, and he told a story that was that was about the tubing down the river. Mm-hmm. He told that when he was on stage in the 80s, and my dad has a video of him that's probably, I'd say he's pushing 400 pounds.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Big dude. Yep. And it was Ron White, sure, before anybody knew who he was.
Wow.
And that's the stuff I'd watch those things over and over again as a kid. I love that stuff.
Loved it. Do you remember like, while we're just talking about this, like, the young VH1? Like before it became like a channel. I mean, like before it was like a reality show channel. Like they used to have like the Young VH1 was like all about comedy, right? And it was the first time I ever saw Rosie O'Donnell, and I knew right then and there. And I knew. And now wait a minute. Now don't worry about the politics. Don't worry about the politics.
No. I never found her funny as a comic.
Really?
Never.
I knew she was gonna be. I knew she was a beast right away. I knew she was dope right away.
This may sound ridiculous, but I didn't know she did stand-up comedy. I had no idea.
Really?
Yeah, because
I've seen her. I didn't either.
I thought she was amazing.
I could not stand her as a comic.
Really? I thought she was.
I'm not wild about her any other direction, but as a there were some of the films she acted in, she was okay.
Flintstones?
But, no.
Flintstones is good, Don?
League of Their Own?
No.
League of Their Own was good.
That was
no crying in baseball.
But no, there's some of the, not when she played a major role, because I can't take that much of her. But no, the first time I saw her in one of those early stand-up specials before she was anybody,
right.
Again, one of the ones Dad has on VHS somewhere, I've seen open micers that are bad that rival her.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was terrible.
I see. Maybe we cut different sets, because the set I saw, I knew she was a star. I knew. I can easily tell. I can tell when someone's like.
Well, I think she had money before she started. That's the only reason.
Well,
she became anybody.
That
she
helps.
had connections on her way in.
That helped. That helps.
Because if she had to get somewhere for her comedy, she'd be starving.
Right. Well, that's true, but that's again, that's part of the game. It's like that's one thing I would tell anybody out there listening right now is that. That's why, that's another reason that you have to, you have to grind a little bit. Like, I feel like you gotta not only,
but Ellen on the other hand, always thought her stand up was brilliant.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Beast. You
Yeah,
ever seen the first one? First one she ever did?
Probably.
The first one she ever did was, she went to Burger King and she got a hamburger, right? And she talks about, she goes, you know what? I hate when people like start chewing and then they want to talk and then they get chewing. And that's what she did. So she would just eat some of the hamburger and then tell the joke and then eat another one. Like, and it was one of the most brilliant bits I've ever seen for stuff like a beginning comic. Like, fantastic. I knew right then. Like, I can tell. I usually can. If I watch you, I can tell if you got talent or not just by probably that first, I'd say 45 seconds, minute, like just the way you handle yourself. I know you got something. I know I can tell you right away, like pretty much. And I think that's pretty much any kind of entertainment venue. Like I can pretty much if I can tell you if you're an entertainer, if you're a real entertainer, if you do this with your heart in it, I can tell if you're real or not. And I can tell, and just to commend you two. I know you're both real entertainers because
I'm fake as hell.
because I can tell. And
these aren't even my real boobs.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you told this bit.
This is my real force.
Right. I don't.
He had it sewed back on.
Right.
It was out of a formaldehyde jar.
Right. But I don't know. I think the bits you do, the bits you try, like Roop, the naked Obama joke, hilarious. When you wrote from your heart the last 2 weeks.
That was a little
rough, but it wasn't awkward because you didn't make it awkward, and it was dope. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing is that's what you can tell. You know who's who. You know who's who. The way they come on stage, the way they perceive things, the way they attempt things, even if they're bad, the way you attempt something, I can tell. If you do this, you take this seriously or not. Even I don't care if it's left field. I don't care if it's about marbles. I don't care if it's about that. Those headphones. You know when somebody's real and when somebody's really doing this for real. I can tell right away. Yeah. That being said, as that I can tell you, if when people are like, people talk a good game and say, hey, we're going to do this or we're going to do that and we're going to be this and we're going to be that, and you never put forth the effort to do anything. If I don't see you progressing, if I don't see you trying to do something, then I know. I talked to my friend Joey Becker yesterday. Was it yesterday? 2 days ago. I think it's 2 days ago.
I don't remember.
And I said, but I told him that we were on his porch, and I told him that I said he was talking about going to New York. He's an actor and a director, and he goes to Wright State Film School, and I said you're gonna know who's who. I said they know who's who. Within 2 minutes of meeting you, they're gonna know if you got it or not. You know what I'm saying? Your job is to be humble, be nice, and expose your knowledge. If you do that, they're gonna know what you're all about.
Yep. All right, we're gonna have to take a break real quick. You got us queued up on that, Patrick? All right, we're gonna have to take a break, and we will be back with some more fabulously informative news stories. All right, take us out.
You fell victim to one of the classic blunders. The most famous is never get involved in a land war in Asia, but only slightly less well known is this: never go in against a Sicilian when death is on the line.
Move over Jimmy Kimmel. Step aside Conan O'Brien. Back off Stephen Colbert. It's my turn. I'm Mike Shea, and every Tuesday on my show, Mike Talks Funny, I sit down and talk with comedians, actors, film fans, podcasters, anybody willing to get down, get deep, and get dirty.
I don't remember the first time I had sex. That was horrible. I didn't even finish the first time I had sex.
I've tasted what most comics want, and now I have to go back and eat leftovers.
You're so brave for wearing that shade of lipstick on stage. Oh my God.
Think of Last Comic Standing, and Mystery Science Theater 3000 had a baby, and that's the show.
My online doppelganger is also a larger black man. He is Adrian Miller. All the top results are he's a professor.
Interviews with great people, not to mention all kinds of awesome new music every show.
Hey, this is Don Smith.
This is Scotty Mage.
Hey, this is Kevin Goatee with Comics Watching Comics.
Brought to you by Eventide Entertainment.
You ever been in a cockpit before?
No, sir, I've never been up in a plane before.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
All right, we are back on the Life Radio Show. I'm your host, Don Smith, sitting in with my co-host, Kevin Rupert, for the evening. We're still here. We are still here, yes.
Keeping it going.
I forgot to announce, that was Potter's Field with Hindsight Hell. I forgot to tell you who we were listening to on that break. So if your eardrums can still take any more, we're back with Neil Griffin.
Hey everybody. hey Radio Land.
Yeah, and we need to do some news stories. That's what it's time for now.
Let's go.
Yeah. So let's see what we got. Legions of tourists are unable to resist snapping, quote, nose pick selfies with the giant statues on Rapa Nui, or Easter Island. Now an archaeologist has warned that tourists are disrespecting the statues by climbing on them, sitting on the graves, and trampling preserved spaces. Joanne von Tilburg said that last year visitors to Eastern Island reached 150,000. I can't talk now. I'm done.
Right.
Joanne van Tilburg said that last year visitors to Easter Island reached 150,000, a rise from just 2,500 in the early 80s. The heads of the Easter Island figures, but often overlooked is the fact they also have bodies. Archaeologists at the University of California, Los Angeles have developed the Easter Island Statue Project to dig deeper into these Pacific island icons and explore what's below the surface. The answer, full-body statues measuring as much as 33 feet high. She says the influx of visitors is having a troubling impact on the island's delicate ecosystem and its archaeology. So everybody's got to go pick the nose of the Easter Island statues.
Right.
I was waiting for you to say when they dig deeper, they found the 6,000 pickled penis jars.
Yes. The Easter Island pickled penis. That's that may be the name of this episode. Let me write that down.
Right.
Easter.
sounds like a charm on a necklace. Pickled penis.
I don't know. Okay. I don't know what kind of jewelry you're into. Easter Island pickled penis.
I just flashed back to the analogy beads.
The analogy beads. I forgot about that. Yeah, those go on either side of the picture.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
Wasn't that the same episode with the wiggly stick as well?
I believe it was. Very good memory for my wiggly stick.
I mean, when it's in a jar with 5,999 other
friends.
Wiggly sticks.
Right.
We call them friends.
Sample in a jar. It's my favorite Fish song, by the way.
What's that?
It's my favorite Fish song. Sample in a jar. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a good song.
Most of my fish can't sing. Whoever broke into a Massachusetts home last week didn't take a thing. They did, however, leave the house spotless. Nate Roman tells the Boston Globe that when he returned to his Marlboro home from Marlboro, smooth,
it's a cigarette
house, smooth place to live.
Right, yeah.
Smoking,
smooth, full flavored place to live. Right there.
Up on Marlboro.
When he returned to his home from work May 15th, he could tell a stranger had been there. Nothing was missing, but the 44-year-old Roman. That was his name. He might have been Roman. I don't know. Noticed the beds were made, the rugs vacuumed, and the toilets scrubbed. They even crafted origami roses on the toilet paper rolls.
Wow.
He called the experience, quote, weird and creepy, and contacted police. Sergeant Daniel Campbell says the department hasn't heard of similar episodes and that there are no suspects. I'd like to find them. I'd like them to break into my house
right,
and come in and clean and leave roses on my toilet. Leave origami roses crafted from my toilet paper.
It's kind of sweet. Like, this is kind of a cool new concept, like thoughtful crimes, you know? Yeah. Like, you can go into, like, Family
As
Dollar.
opposed to thought crime.
Which is a different thing.
Right. Which, yeah, from 1984.
But, I like it, though. I'm going to go into Walmart instead of shoplifting and Mountain Dew. I'm going to, like, add an extra Mountain Dew to, like, what they already have.
Yeah, just bring a six-pack. Just set it up there so they can resell it because, Walmart might need the help.
Are you going to write a little note that says, "You're welcome"? Put a little note on it?
Yeah, that's your calling card.
Right. I'm Kevin Roop. Yeah.
The anti-criminal.
Right.
Well, you don't want to identify yourself.
Well, you're welcome, Roop.
This is a different kind of superhero.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just a little more manageable.
The putbacker.
The putbacker.
What do you do? I put back stuff.
Yep. Whatever it is. I'm sure somebody has stolen Mountain Dew at some point. Here's one there. Add it to your inventory.
Right.
You're welcome.
Right. I found these headphones. They're yours.
Yeah.
I put stuff back.
Meanwhile, I cost thousands of dollars in damage to get in the building to leave you
exactly.
this $100 pair of
headphones. You had to bust through the window. But hey, you're welcome for that bottle of Mountain Dew.
The angry email says, "Do not do dairy." You know what I'm saying? Right. Make sure that dairy's cold before you put it back.
Yep.
Oh,
that's going to pick it up every time you do that. Every time you do that, you're wiggling my microphone.
Right. I'm wiggling
all the way
mic.
over here. You're wiggling
I'm wiggling the mic. I got in trouble.
Big black wiggly stick.
I got to put it back. I got to put the mic back.
Yeah, put the mic back.
I'm the putbacker.
Yep, the putbacker. Yep.
You do need a new mic, so.
Yep. A fugitive has put a very modern price on his freedom. Jose Sims cut a deal with Connecticut City with the Connecticut City of Torrington Police Department to turn himself in if his wanted poster on the department's official Facebook account went viral and garnered 15,000 likes.
Nice.
Okay.
How is that viral? 15,000? That's not viral.
Mm-hmm.
That's barely even a sniffle at that point.
Think so?
That's still totally curable.
15,000 likes or shares?
Likes.
Yeah, that's not. That's
not viral. Sims, 29, is wanted on 4 warrants for first-degree failure to appear in court and 3 warrants second-degree failure to appear.
This guy's a no-show.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So even if he goes to turn himself in, he's probably not going to make it.
Right.
What I have to question the difference in degrees. What is the difference between a first degree failure to appear and a second degree failure to appear? Is that you didn't appear the second time?
No, you lied about it.
You had a first degree failure to appear and you didn't show up for that one.
Right.
So that turns it into a second degree.
Right. Well, yeah, because if you call like the clerk of courts and say, I'm coming, and then you don't show up, then that's
you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
Right.
You don't want to call. You don't want to call and shout, I'm coming. That's a whole other charge you're going to get right there.
What's on that judge's robe? What's going on over there? What's on that robe? Putbacker. What's he put on the
the underlying charges involve drugs, DUI, protective order violation, breach of the peace, and false reporting cases. Torrington Lieutenant Brett Johnson told Huffington Post on Thursday. Sims initially made contact with Johnson. Well, that's another charge.
I'm coming.
Especially if it's a pickled one. Over Facebook Messenger after the department began wanting posters for various fugitives on its page. He asked Johnson when his image would appear and suggested 20,000 likes in exchange for his surrender, but the officer negotiated him down. Really, dude? 20,000?
Right.
You think anybody cares about you that much?
Right. That's funny. Now, I want to get back to the likes. I want to get back to the likes and whether it's viral or not. Okay.
Okay.
Number one, Rube. I consider you a friend. I consider you a friend. You consider me a friend?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Okay. So I've been to your comedy shows, and if you got 15,000 likes, like we're probably going to buy milkshakes. Like something's going to happen. Like we're probably going to celebrate. Like that's the thing. Like I
with milkshakes.
Right. Well, yeah, or with something, or maybe an adult milkshake with with hops. But I'm just saying, like if I get like 15,000 likes for the No Government Friends comedy show or WO Rights, I'm pretty happy.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
saying.
I'm good with that. I'm good with
I'm
that.
just
But
saying.
we're talking about a man's freedom here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And his failure to appear, apparently. Not
Who does that? Why would you?
Well, I mean, you can't appear if you're coming, so.
Right.
Yeah, but why would you not just show up? Like, why would you not? Why would you not? Like, what? You know, what? You didn't come the first time, and then you're like, yo, you know, I'm gonna come, and then you don't come again, and you get charged again. Like, why? Like, what's going on in your life to where you need to really not be in court?
Also-
I think there are a lot of. I just don't want to be in court. That's really.
Right.
Yeah.
He's listening to Afro Man because I got high, and that's why he didn't
Yeah,
go to
that's
court.
right. I'm supposed to go to court.
Right, but I got high. Yeah. Well, that's your whole problem in the first place. You know what I'm saying? That's terrible, man. Yeah.
So you think 15,000 likes is going viral? Because I think that's a little light for viral.
I feel like for what we do, yes. Now, if we had now,
I will tell you, I've had a Facebook Live video in this studio go to almost 6,000 views.
You're a bad mofo.
It's not even half that.
You're a bad mofo. You're
Right.
bad.
But that's not
pretty impressive.
15,000 likes.
But I feel you. But I'm just saying that's.
And I'm sure out of those 6,000 people, there really weren't 6,000 that liked it.
Right. But you
maybe 4.
That's like when I posted.
16,000.
That's like when I posted my rap video for Gold Digger. There were
Oh,
like,
yes.
there
You
were
haven't
like,
seen that.
Well, I have.
but there were like 300 views and like 20 likes. I'm like, you guys are a-holes. Like, what the? Like, that's a terrible ratio.
Yeah. A lot
I like
of
when you
thumbs down on that one.
Right.
Exactly.
I like when you bob your head. I like it when you bob your head. You're like, she's a gold digger. You get the rhythm of which.
Yep, and then you got to be real careful on the next line.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
That's
but,
exactly,
and he makes it golden. Kevin Rupert, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know Roop, Kevin Rupert is on my face. He's a friend of mine. He's great. Check out his shows. He's hilarious, and like he just God bless his heart. God bless him. He just comes out of nowhere, and the little guy, he's a great guy. He just grabs the mic, and where we at? Paradise Key Cafe.
Yeah.
Paradise Key Cafe.
Oh, so there wasn't anybody there anyway.
on the Horseman Road. It's like our cave. If you're on Facebook Live and you see this, it's like the cave in DC. Like there's not a lot of people there, but the food's good, and you work out your material. And we go out there and do it.
Yeah, I've done a show there before.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a great place. And but Kevin Rupert, if you don't know him, ladies and gentlemen, just God bless him. He sings this song "Gold Digger" by Kanye West for karaoke to promote a show that we did last week on Friday.
Friday.
Yeah,
on the Messiah Hookah show.
Yeah, the Messiah Hookah show, and it's just a gem. And if you're on my Facebook page, please, I have it on there.
Make him go viral.
Yeah, we need more than 15,000 likes.
Right, exactly.
So here's my
20.
Here's my argument.
He'll turn himself in.
But
I think 15,000 likes is viral because if you look at the like button, it's a thumb, and if you get thumbed, you'll definitely go viral.
Oh yeah, if you get a thumb in you 15,000 times, you're catching something. Because a lot out of those 15,000 people, I'm sure like 14,800 did not wash their hands recently.
Right.
That's right.
A teenager who stole a rare endangered lemur from a Southern California zoo last summer has agreed to plead guilty to the crime. According to the Department of Justice release, 19-year-old Aquinas Quinn Casbar has agreed to plead guilty to one misdemeanor count of unlawfully taking an endangered species. Authorities said Casbar broke into the Santa Ana Zoo after hours last July and stole Isaac, who at 32 is the oldest living ring-tailed lemur in captivity in North America. Well, they don't move real fast. According to the Orange County Register. Casbar, who intended to keep the endangered animal as a pet, used bolt cutters to cut a hole in the zoo's enclosure for lemurs and capuchin monkeys. As a result, several animals escaped when the accused grabbed Isaac, though they were later retrieved. Once Casbar had the lemur, he put the extremely rare, extremely endangered animal in a plastic drawer that lacked ventilation holes, according to the release. Because he was a smart one.
So
who hasn't wanted to steal a lemur? They're just asking for it.
Right. You can see them for days.
Right.
But like lemurs have huge eyes. Their eyes are huge. They're like saucers. They're like a lemur has I think we should electrocute a lemur. That'd be hilarious. Like lemurs are like have these big eyes, and I mean I can only imagine. Poor Isaac. Poor Isaac didn't have a chance. He didn't have a damn chance. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's all good, man. I just want to say I
I just got a quote from you that is going to make a great title for this show. We should electrocute a lemur.
It's gotta be done. Hey, if you're in radar land, don't do that. Don't do that. But it will be hilarious.
Better yet, stick one in the microwave.
Maybe its eyes will start glowing like a plasma ball.
Peter, we're just kidding. Peter, we're kidding. These are jokes. They're just jokes. We're just joking. But to see an electrocuted lemur on a t-shirt.
Would you have to do like in the old days and shave its head? Put a little sponge on top.
Yes. Smoking a cigarette. Electrocuted lemur smoking a cigarette.
Any last requests?
Oh my god!
Like his eyes would be gorgeous. That would be a gorgeous thing. I'm sorry. That's a lot of fun.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Electrocute a lemur.
Electrocute a lemur.
For charity. We'll do it for charity.
Yeah, for charity.
Give us 15,000 likes and we'll electrocute a lemur.
10%. And the charity gets 10%.
All proceeds go to PETA. That's the best part.
Yeah,
we'll get 5,000 of those likes
help
to
save
PETA.
endangered species.
Right, because of PETA and the Dayton Hollywood Casino. That's what it needs to go to. I love charity.
You're not allowed to show your PETA in that casino. Don't ask how I know.
They have free soda. All right, go.
It's a story without a happy ending.
God bless our hearts.
An Oregon man has admitted stealing his daughter's Girl Scout cookie money to pay for an erotic massage. Brian Couture, 40 years old, pleaded guilty on Monday to initiating a false report. He was put on probation, fined $100, and ordered to perform 80 hours of community service giving erotic massages. No, that would be...
I was thinking the same thing.
He'll also have to repay what he stole, the Washington County District Attorney's Office said in a statement. Back in March, Couture of Forest Grove called 911 to report that someone had entered his home through a sliding glass door and fought with him before fleeing, according to the local station KOIN. Police found the home ransacked and spotted with blood. Couture told officers the assailant stole $740 of his daughter's Girl Scout cookie money from a jar.
Wow.
Dang.
Wow.
All for an erotic massage.
Wow.
Well, at least he didn't electrocute lemur.
At least that's true. That's true.
Right.
He could have raised twice that.
That's right. Yeah.
How addicted to women?
Why do you need an erotic massage?
An electric lemur. Who doesn't?
Right, who doesn't? First of all, sir, you have seen an electric lemur light up. Like, that is a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing.
Have you ever eaten Girl Scout cookies that's erotic enough just to taste a Girl Scout cookie?
What's your favorite kind, my friend?
Girl Scout cookie, John.
What's your favorite
cookie?
What's your favorite kind?
The opinions.
I would say the chocolate
opinions
mint.
of producer Patrick do not reflect the opinions of the Life Radio Show or any of us. We apologize for his very appearance. If he wasn't in control of the board, I would shut his microphone off. Okay, moving on.
I like peanut butter Dusty Doughs. Those are good.
Those are good.
There we go. But I don't know if I would steal money to have an erotic massage. Even in Vegas, I would feel like that
I'm
would
glad
be.
you draw a line.
Yeah,
You'll electrocute a lemur, but you won't steal
This is an
$740
interesting.
massage.
I do have a 5-year-old
And
daughter,
you know
and I
what?
would never steal her.
$740 should get you one hell of an erotic massage.
Oh yeah, you're getting. You're gonna get. You're gonna have a mint afterwards. You're gonna get a mint.
That's deluxe.
If that masseuse neglects the balls,
oh yeah,
I'm gonna be
absolutely,
so upset.
absolutely.
You're gonna get an Andes mint. That's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get an Andes mint, the worst tasting chocolate mint in the world, folks.
Well, you're not gonna eat it though.
Yeah, no.
That goes somewhere else. That's freshen up down there.
Right? Or is that? Does this say suppository? What is it? No, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right. I don't know. Why would you do that? Why would you go? Why would you go and like walk in your daughter's room and take her money and then go get that's got to be the most guiltiest pleasure, you know? like of all time. Like,
maybe that's all part of his trip.
Right.
That's all part of his gig.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And like, can you imagine like just being like the lady of the evening? Like the lady of the evening's just like, oh yeah. You know what I mean? And he's like thinking the whole time, like, yep.
If I had a lady of the evening look at me and say that, I'd probably find another lady. Like, evening over. Thank you.
It's daytime.
All right, we got to end strong.
All right, let's go. Let's go, Dunny.
A horny teenager had to be freed with a circular saw after getting his penis stuck in a toilet pipe.
Wonderful.
The Randy 16-year-old lad put his member inside a waist-high metal pipe work in his home in Johor, Malaysia on May 20th because he didn't have $740 for an erotic massage. But midway through the bizarre tryst, his private swelled so much that they became stuck inside the gray alloy tube, which was uncovered and protruding outwards from the wall. The embarrassed lad desperately tried to free himself for over an hour before finally shouting for his housemates for help.
Oh my gosh!
Would you?
I got 2 words for you. 2 words for you. Pikeville, Kentucky. Pikeville, Kentucky. I've seen this happen, and it's not pretty. For whatever reason, they don't have. Okay, so the plumbing in Pikeville, like in the outskirts of Pikeville, they have their plumbing goes into a creek. So they really just have one open pipe that could be lent itself to guilty pleasures. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things that this is a thing where I feel like very common. Never happened to me per se.
I don't know. You seem to talk an awful lot of experience on that.
Well,
do you have a particular drain pipe you're involved with at the moment? Or
I like to call her Earl the Girl.
It's in Kentucky, too, so I guess you have to do something when you can't find your sister.
I was born in Cynthiana, Kentucky, and I just want to let you know that it's a good place to be, and we have had some fun. Yeah.
Come for the bourbon, stay for the pipe.
Right? Yeah, and all kinds of pipes.
That's Kentucky's new motto.
Right. There you go. Well, it used to be, hey, we still allow smoke and cum, but now it's that. Now it's hey.
It's the same. We still love smoking and cum.
Right. I like how you did that, Roop. That was smart. See, that's why Kevin Roop is smart. He's smart. The way he did that was smart. Don Smith, Kevin Roop. Don Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know Don Smith, I met Don Smith about a few months ago, and I walk in the building, and I said, "Hi, my name's Neil Griffin." And he says, "Yeah, good." and I grab and I have an unorthodox. When I'm first writing a joke, I like to get on stage and tell it over and over again, and it was very annoying. And Don Smith is like Don Smith, the beloved host of the show. He just cuts off my microphone and says, "Please join us." But we've been friends ever since. But
well, no, the first time I let you go up there, and it drove a lot of people out of the room.
right.
We ended up having most of the comics hang out in the alley.
right.
And the following week, I had to stop it.
right. And God bless him, but God bless Don Smith for giving me the chance to work my material out and become the comic that I am now. And I really
can't blame all that on me.
Well, I'm just letting you know I do appreciate that very much because it is the reason that I am working now and doing good things. And so I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much.
It's good to know you. It's good to have you as a friend. Do you have any shows coming up? I know you got shows at WO Rights. Is that weekly or?
No, well, it was weekly. We want to do just like we just did like the first 3 weeks of like April. Just like I just want to see where I had and having a hip hop violinist and having different special guests. I really wanted to break it up some. So what I did was May we kind of took some time off. I did some other gigs and then. So then we're coming back in June, and we'll be there. We'll be there June 21st. Right now, I'm working on the roster right now, but I know Damon Darley Sr. is going to be on the show, and I think Keith Irvin. I just talked to him. I think he's probably going to be on the show. It's going to be a dynamite attraction. Then I have to shoot Non Sequitur, which is my sketch comedy show. Well, actually, it's Jesse Nuts. sketch comedy show. I just happen to be a part to be able to help him. I'm blessed to be able to help him. So that's going to be something special. And then that's really about it. And then I'm going to, me and Rupert just talking about going on the road for a minute, try to hit some mics up and just practice our craft, keep working on our stuff. So that's what I'm doing. And then in the fall, then the Neil Griffin and Ren's Comedy Show will be revved up then, and then we'll be doing twice a month. We'll be doing that, and we're really looking forward to a great season. And that's really about it right now. I'll do fireworks. I'll be doing fireworks soon. The comedy show down at Wiley's. Yeah. So there's going to be different competitions and stuff. Like summer's grind time, people. So it's going to be kind of like I'm gonna just check out my Facebook page, Neil Griffin, Facebook, and WO Wrights Pub and Grill, Instagram, and their Facebook page, and we'll have different events and stuff. And all
right, Rupert, you got a minute?
Cool.
I know June 8th, Billy's Burgers and Beers.
Absolutely. And actually, this Friday, Mike Wells and Andrew Mitikaitis and a lot of other comedians put together a charity show to benefit victims of the tornado last night. I believe it's called Helping Right Here, and it's happening at Hannah's. I think
121 North Ludlow.
Right.
Yep. And I think it's from 8 to 11 p.m. So it's going to be the Gym City Tonight taping on location, and then we're going to piggyback off of that and do a stand-up show. And all the proceeds that we raise will go to help the tornado victims. Also, like you said, Don, June 8th, Billy's Burgers and Beers, 8:30 p.m. We got Rob Wilfong headlining. Don's on it. Erica Russell. A lot of other funny comedians. And then Barrel of Laughs again on June 20th. At the Barrel. 8:30 p.m. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys coming in. Neil, it's always good to see you. Kevin, thanks a lot for co-hosting for me tonight. And let's get the hell out of here, Patrick. Thanks for listening to the Life Radio Show podcast. Check us out on Eventide Entertainment Podcast Network or wherever you listen to podcasts. Remember, if you want to listen live, we're on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. on WWSU 106.9 FM, with repeats on Wednesdays from 10 to noon and Thursdays from noon to 2. You can also stream the show live at WWSU1069.org. If you have suggestions or comments for the show, feel free to email thelife1069@gmail.com.
Presence overwhelms me. The brutal presence.
I think we should electrocute a lemur. That'd be hilarious.